Because to kick things off, who's the starting goalie tonight?
Harrison. Yeah.
Any other changes to the lineup as far as who's in, who's out?
Yeah, Jet's going to go in, and Grabenkin.
Okay. Is going in also?
They're both going in, yeah.
When it comes to Michkov, you've been working with him individually a lot, and second year in the NHL,
Sure.
I'm sure you know he was working on a lot of things last year to play a certain way. What is your work with him now? Are you reinforcing that? Are you bringing along other things to him as he gets here in this second year?
Yeah, I think you got to let him be who he is, but there's parts of his game that he has to improve on. I think sometimes he likes to slow the game down a little bit, take the puck back. So I'd like to see him play a little bit more north style. You look at the great players in the league. It's a north style to win. Now there's a time and place, so you got to let him be creative and do all that stuff. But he also knows that he's got to be able to, push the pace in a north style. So he's been great to work with. Like he's come to the office when he wants to watch video, which I like. He wants to be coached, which is really good.
What are you hoping to see from Grabenkin tonight, and especially skating on a line, I'm assuming, based on what we saw with Lichenko and Garnett?
Like, really hash mark down. I think we looked at the video again of the Florida game. There was a lot, of opportunities to make plays. There was at least 8 opportunities where we had Florida in a bad position. We never took advantage of it, and I think that's from not enough net front and not enough. I think the D a couple times just like 4 or 5 just reset the puck instead of trying to attack the middle. The middle was open against Florida, so I think a guy like Brenken, he can really help us with net front. We're playing another man-on-man team, so can you beat your check and get to the net? If you can beat your guy to the net, you're going to get some opportunities. If you play the outside, you won't get opportunities. I think he's an inside player.
We've talked about a lot of players being coachable. I spoke with him after the game. Last preseason game he played, and he said that the message was to go to the net. Do you find him being someone who's coachable and listens and makes adjustments?
Yeah, no, he's a coachable kid. Obviously language barrier, we got to work on that sort of stuff. But that's the problem. You tell him something, he doesn't always have to go to the net. Like he can be an option. So, sometimes he takes literally what you say. So he'll go to the net when he shouldn't. So we got to kind of find that mix. But I do, he's a net front guy. But there's times when he can be a slot guy or a second stick guy. He doesn't always have to get to the net. So we just got to find that balance.
You mentioned with Jet Lichenko that especially the first couple weeks he doesn't necessarily need to play every game. But what are you looking for from him in terms of continued growth? Because you said that you liked his second half of the preseason better than the first, and that probably played into why he made the team.
I just think his speed through news is great, but when he gets over the blue line, he continue to use that speed, whether it's to attack the inside for a shot, or if it's a deep delay. I think once he's getting over the blue line, he stops skating, and I think that's I think that's youth. The speed through neutral is great, but keep that speed everywhere else. He could be terrific on a deep delay. A one-on-one a defenseman, you do a deep delay, that's a hard thing to check a guy with a speed. You do the deep delay. Now he's going to have time and space. Now he might take it to the net. He might make a play. I don't care after that, but I think he has to continue that aggressive style, in the offensive zone.
With the way the lines are set up, yesterday, that line ran as the fourth line. But are you keeping an eye to see maybe you'll give that line more minutes, or are you even looking at the opposite way that maybe you'll give it fewer minutes if they struggle early and they seem a little overwhelmed?
Yeah, but I've only been a short time. I'm trying to get to understand guys. But for me personally, I think this is a team that, we got to get. Is it a 4-line team? Yeah, I think it's more. I'm not sure we're a heavy 2-line, 22-minute type of line. I don't think we have that kind of personnel. I think we have a lot of good players on this team that need to get on the ice, and I think the balance is better, and then we can play a harder game. You're playing, obviously, like the Cates line is a good line. They probably deserve a lion's share of their minutes, but we got to get other guys some ice time too. So, that's the balance I like to do, especially early in the season, and especially the way we want to play. You want to play uncomfortable. It's hard to play. It's hard to play uncomfortable when you're playing 22 minutes. 2 lines are playing that kind of minutes, the other lines are playing 5 or 8 minutes. I don't think that's our personnel. I think we got to play a more balanced offensive team.
Just real quick,
we got 11:30 best guys. Sorry.
Who's coming out of the lineup for Grabenkin and Lichenko?
D'Lo and Apes.
Gotcha.
Obviously.